Okay, this is the update video. What's been going on the Montana and Wyoming. So this lake had to get re-poured. Whatever I had for a mix, or at the time having this AC vent here, I don't know what the issue was, but basically the lake never cured, so it had to get scraped out, which was a really dumb job. Got that taken care of, and I think it turned out 10 times better. I got a dinosaur bone buried in there and another little sailboat. So I painted some different waves inside. I made all this effect with white paint and alcohol, so that's how you get that kind of natural effect. Now it's mixed, and this is actually on this back of this boat. That is actually a broken coffee stirrer painted the color of the lake, so it looks like waves behind it, and so that it tips the boat up because he's evading this shark. So, you know, it's just made out of garbage, basically. These are the dinosaur bones that I got from the dollar store. They're $1.25 each, and you just assemble half of them because they come in two halves, and then I glued them to the wall. And I mixed this sand, I redid it. It's got a little bit of glitter in it, coal dust, and play sand. That's what the mix is. And obviously some new growth. I wanted it to look like a kind of a volcanic sand. So this is a caldera lake, and you can look up what a caldera is. I'm not gonna tell you if you don't know. And Montana has a big famous caldera. And he's got a little pit that he's excavating one of the leg bones from. And I've got some different longer glitter for kind of crystals. So this is the talus from Woodland Scenics that's been dyed, the bigger rocks. But I think it turned out fantastic. That's what this area looks like now. And then I can, you know, notice it's not perfectly consistent. There's different areas where there's grass, there's different areas where the coal dust is more prevalent, because it'll be like more like a beach. And then I've got some weeds over here where the duck on the trailer is, and got some other grass growing over there. So, you know, I'm just taking my time with the vegetation, and this way it'll look better in the end, I think. So that's that lake, and how I did that is the same way that I'm doing this lake, which is I've got these little heaters. These heaters are from Canadian Tire. They're like a camper heater. It's just a little tiny unit. Has two settings, high and low, and the low is 170 watts and the high is 250 watts. So it's not very powerful. It's got a tip sensor underneath, and I've got crushed little foil pie tin on there so I don't wreck my scenery. And this is what it looks like underneath. So I've got up to the third layer. There's a sea turtle. Sneak under here, and there's an eel. Gives you an idea. There's a puffer fish in there. This is still a little tacky. The beaver dam's coming around nice. And then these puppy training pads, they act like to hoard in the heat, like they do concrete in the winter. That's how I did it the same over there. I just pinned them over top of the lake, and this time they've been curing in under 24 hours because there's heat on it. So I've got some glitter in different spots, and I've actually got, let's just zoom in, I've got a big fishing hook attached to the wall at the moment, and that is going to go on the exploration ship. So I've got these pyramids, so we're going to have an expedition ship, which is really a tugboat, and this is got the first coat on it right now, so that's going to go in there, and then that fishing line is going to attach to it. And I'm going to do the deck of this with toothpicks and stain them so it looks like it has a kind of a more realistic deck. And I've got to do some other striping on the side and put a second coat on, and then weather the resin kit. So I've got to cut this guy out and glue it together. It's got the lifeboat. And this is what I was using for mixing last night. So got to get your mix right. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, but obviously I didn't have enough hardener somehow. I was eyeballing it more so on the other lake, and it never ever cured. So that's important. This is what I was forced to purchase because all the small resin is sold out at Michael's. So this is what $100 after coupon of resin looks like. But I mean, in theory, I've already used half a bottle in doing 3 pours on that big lake. So I am sure that I needed it anyway. I want a very deep lake, so I want it to come up right to the railroad track here. So, you know, what you're looking at is all going to be underwater very soon. So I rearranged this area again. I put this extra little panel here for now because I brought this curved track out. It didn't want to naturally sit, and once you put the rocks on, it was hitting. So I've got a fuel tanks for diesels and diesel fuel, and I've got my U-boats here, and I put this 2-stall roundhouse that I had built here. Just gives it a little bit, I think it suits it. And the interchange track that goes to Idaho and Utah, that is there, that is in, goes around the corner. If I cut a hole sometime, that can go actually to the bottom level. We'll see if we get that far. I've got my interchange tower. This is supposed to be Silver Bow in Montana, where they had Union Pacific. So this will be a Northern Pacific and Union Pacific joint facility. And then I've got my bridges, as you've seen. You've got the yard, and I moved the copper mine to a different location. So I'm gonna have these weathered all the same eventually so that they match better. And I've penciled on kind of a rough idea for mountains and how I want that attached. This is basically going to be a cliffside. This will be a brick wall with some rocks around it as well. That kind of was enhanced to make it so that they could have this yard. And then moving the mine up to there frees up this siding. So either lumber yard is what I'm leaning towards, or icing platform, but probably sawmill or something of that nature. I've got a bunch of flat cars now. So, and then I'm working on fixing this bottom reversing loop. I picked up the PSX AR. I've just been reading the book, and I can go to another couple guys have a reversing setup on the HON3 layout in town that I can go and take a look at and make sure that I'm hooking it up the right way. It is a lot more complicated than the Digitrax AR1, but it has the capability to make it so the switch throws itself after the train has entered the loop. So that's kind of a nice feature. And my big thing was the Digitrax AR1 was kicking off, and this was recommended. And then right there, if you see, PSX AR series is a product of years of research into problems dealing with false overloads that cause premature shutdown of boosters and other circuit breakers. These false overloads are caused by large capacitors used in sound systems, decoders, and lighted passenger cars. The overload appears as a short circuit until the capacitors are charged. The logic on the PSX AR determines if the load is a true short or overload due to a discharged capacitor. It also has a logic and power to control switch machines. So it basically, the technology is on this board that it knows that it's a false short from the capacitor that's in the Broadway steam locomotives, and you don't have to have stupid instructions showing you which way to run your Broadways in your reversing loop. what a nightmare. So once that was been figured out, once that I know that that loop works, I've got another one here to do, and I want to put in another reversing loop on the bottom. So, but I'll be using that machine instead. So that's a basic update of where things are at. And once this lake is poured, what I've been doing is working on getting the track back in. I have it all back up, but now I'm actually going to glue this down and make sure I've got enough feeders. That's the kind of boring stuff that I'm doing right now, getting all the feeders working correctly. And so far so good, just need more. You can never have too many feeders. People say, oh yeah, I you know, didn't put that many feeders in. Trust me, you're gonna want more feeders if you're gonna run sound. So have a good day, guys, and we will keep you updated and talk to you soon. Thanks.